we are back, but we're at this time at a train station. I'm not driving to Gatwick, pretty early, it's 5:10. My flight is also very early, I think 8:20, so I thought I'd get a train. It's nice and easy. Obviously, you've seen the first vlog from Aragon, and I appreciate all the comments from all my sort of supporters and stuff saying what they want to see. This time we're obviously off to Paul Ricard. I cannot wait. It's a track that I've been to watch at before, but never raced, so it'd be pretty interesting, I think. The weather also looks a little bit interesting. It's nice and wet. Obviously, that might change before sort of the end of the video, but we're at the train station now. Train's about 10 minutes away. These early starts, oh god, I look horrendous. I'll see you guys at Gatwick Airport. Hello, so I've made it to the track. I didn't do any footage of me picking up this shit box, but nice. Why would you want to see that? It was only about 45 minutes from the airport to the track. We can't actually sort of get into the garage or anything at the moment with the lorry or anything, so I'm going to go to the Airbnb and see what that looks like, but I'd much prefer to be in France than Spain. Spain was a complete and utter so being in France is great. It's not that warm, it's about 18 degrees tomorrow. I'm very excited for. In the meantime, let's go and see what the Airbnb looks like and see if we can find that Martini guy, see what he's up to, because I think he's bought his very special new toy with him to France, so we're going to see if we can find him. Made it to the Airbnb. Jordan's not actually here yet, so I've just had a little mooch around, see what we've got to play with here, and the view is pretty spectacular, so I'll show you a bit of the outside space. A lot of you guys watching, obviously, it's the dream to do sort of what I'm doing. I'm so grateful for all my sponsors and everyone's help, especially Jordan's help more recently. We'll wait and see when he turns up, and we'll try and capture him arriving in this new Ferrari. It's pretty good, isn't it? It's going to take me for a spin through the French mountains later in that. Right, I will see you probably tomorrow morning at the track.
Bend that ass over, let that coochie breathe. Shake that ass, bitch. Hands on your knees. Shake that ass for Drake. Now shake that ass for me.
We are at the track. We've had our driver's briefing. We've got our wristbands, everything like that. I'm just going into the lorry now to go and get changed. It's very interesting. GT3 cars, LMP2 cars, LMP3 cars here. So yeah, it's going to be obviously interesting. We'll probably be the slowest car here in terms of the GT4 are the slower class, but I can't wait. The track looks fucking mental. Just had a bit of a safety briefing, obviously, like I said. Very interesting because it's all in French. So going out on track now, so I guess I'll see you after session 1. So that is test session 1 of day 1 done. Not too much testing really, just trying to get used to the track. The track is like a car park, it's massive, and also there's so many bloody red and blue lines everywhere, you can't see where you're going. So learning the track session 1, did a few fast laps, nothing.
I don't think you have any idea how fast I really am. I'm fast as fuck, boy.
Too major. Obviously lots of other fast cars here, GT4 cars, who seem to be about 6 miles off on track limits, which is always fun when we're trying to be sort of legal and do quick times, and they're 2 seconds up the road because they're cutting half the apex out. But anyway,
Yeah, boy.
we just had a huge lunch back in the pit lane with Jordan, and
So you subscribed, by the way. Max never asks people to subscribe. Subscribe, come on, what are you doing? Also slap that like button.
all of that.
Yeah, all of that.
And we're going to switch now to this first session after lunch. So we're on board and down the main straight, obviously pairing here, quite heavy braking. We're going sort of 130, 140 mile an hour into turn 1, down to 3rd gear, over the apex curb, turning into the right hand side, keeping it in the 3rd, over the curb, use all the exit, and then obviously progressing down the straight, keeping as far left as we can to obviously open up the corner, which is the right-handed sort of type chicane. So you're down to 3rd, over the apex, and then down to 2nd here, and hooking that inside curb there to bring us central in the track. So this really tight sort of corkscrew-esque right-hander, obviously, which then helps us through the long right-hander onto the back straight. Before that, there's a slight left-hand kink here, which is really hard to get flat, because obviously you don't want to use all of the exit track limits. Obviously now progressing down the straight, where we'd probably be doing about 150 mile an hour, and coming up to the bridge, we're braking just after the bridge. So obviously it's quite scary coming down here, going pretty quick, braking now down to 2nd, obviously middle of the track, turning into the right hand apex here, back on the throttle nice and early, use all of that curve on the left. Obviously I've used quite a lot of track limits there, and then again keep it to the left hand side, ready for a fast right hander up here, which we approach up in 5th, and then take the corner in 5th as well. But obviously I have a slight brake on entry, get the car settled, turning it in, use all the track on the exit, obviously not too much within track limits. Turning into this long, really long right hand, you sort of go really nice and deep onto the blue, slightly there, and then back on the throttle into the apex, use all the track on the exit. Such a hard corner, that one. And then into the long left again, middle of the track, get the car rotated, back on the throttle again, really hard corner. This track looks so simple, but it's really not. Feeding throttle in, obviously we're flat now, and then we've got another long left-hander where you sort of hit the first apex, brake, get the car rotated, keeping the car in obviously second gear, and then keeping it as far left as possible, just so that we can get that nice entry and exit out of the last corner. And that is pretty much a fast lap round Paul Ricard. Obviously this is still not qualifying lap, this was my first session of the weekend. So I've just come in from session 2 of the day, and really good, really consistent. I found I finished second in myself, but I was thinking, I was coming through the quick stuff, coming through the slow stuff, I was thinking, why are these tyres not working? We found that the tyres actually delaminated. So, good morning, it's day 2 from Paul Ricard and we're back. Jordan just gone out for the first bit of the session. He wanted to do a longer stint to try and learn the track. Obviously, being new here and a little less experience than some of the other drivers here, he needed a decent time out on track. So doing an hour stint, new tyres, full fuel, and also we've never done a full hour stint with the car, so we need to know whether fucking hell the car's going to make the hour with obviously fuel, no fuel surges. So it's going to be a really good test of the car, a really good test for Jordan. It's going to give him some real endurance feeling and learning the track for a longer period of time. So hopefully after the hour stint, he'll be sort of more comfortable with the track, you could say. So in the meantime, I'm going to review the data. I did a 2:12 yesterday, which is half second off the pole time from last year. But some of the other guys are here who are racing this year against us. I think number 1, number 2 are here, and they were in the 2:10s yesterday. So obviously, again, for me, I've never been here, more experience, so I want to be up there with those quick guys. We know that the car can do it, or think the car can do it. So today, I'm going to go new tyres for I think 2 sessions, which is really good. And I'm hoping to get into the 2:10. You know, we'll see how we get on. Track as well is very cold today. I think it's about 6 degrees track temperature and about 7 degrees air temperature, so yeah, it could be interesting. What, 9:30 now, so at 10:30 Jordan will be in, and then I'm going to get suited up and we're going to go at about 11 for my sort of 35-minute stint, which is going to be done because obviously in the race is an hour, so worst case I'll be doing 35 minutes. We need to see again how much fuel I use 35 minutes compared to Jordan. Obviously being a professional compared to someone who's new to racing like Jordan, obviously only been done a year within motorsport, he'll be using a lot more fuel. Now why is that? He's using more fuel because he's on and off the throttle that little bit more, and believe it or not, it makes a huge difference. So it'll be interesting to know what that figure is. But anyway, Jordan's out on track now, and I'll see you probably just before I can jump in. So Jordan came in from his stint, but look, started raining. It's absolutely pissing it down. So he had a good stint, good few times, and they're nice and consistent. So we looked through all the data, it looks really good. I was just about to go out, go get changed, and it started pissing it down with rain. So we've got an early lunch break now. I think there's a couple of cars going on the barrier. So I guess my first session will be after lunch, and it'll be in very wet conditions. I've never seen it rain like this before in France. Fucking hell. Can't wait for the wet as well. I love the wet. Not that I'm bad in the dry or don't like the dry, but the wet is just something else. I love a bit of sliding, a bit of pushing the car through, aquaplaning, all that sort of stuff. I think it adds another element of sort of danger to it. So I think we've got some new wets to pop on, and we'll have a go out on track and see what we can do with it. Obviously, new wets makes a massive difference to old, because you've got that bigger block gap for the water to pass through. And also pressure tyres are always better, really, like in the dry slicks. New tyres are the best, so we'll see how it feels. The track was absolutely soaking. It was flooded, probably a better word for it. Loads of water everywhere. It dried quite quick though. I say dried, it's not dry yet, but obviously you start getting bits dry around the apexes on racing live. It took me about 10 minutes to work out the lines. My teammate Dexter went a bit quicker than me. The guys came across the radio and said, Max, look, you're second down, you need to find some time. So I thought I'd push on a bit more. I made the time up, we ended up being pretty similar. I'm not quite sure who was quickest, but we were very similar, which is really good. So for me now, I've driven the dry and the wet here. So obviously fast forward to April when the first round is, 5th of April. Obviously all this stuff is all gonna be on YouTube, so you guys can check it out. It's on European GT4 series, all live, everything like that. So it's gonna be sick. But anyway, back to the story. Obviously I've done slicks and wets, so I've got a good understanding of both. Obviously get another session today. Put some slicks on to see what the grip was like. Obviously coming into turn 1, lay on the brakes, carrying the third gear into the apex, it is actually still really slippery. Not that you can see that, using the curbs, using the exit curb, and then off down the straight. With the car squarely under brake and down to second gear, in and over the apex curb to get that grip rotation, in on the right hand side, and then coming around the last few corners, it's actually really wet here. Obviously getting into the apex relatively easy, sort of 10 minute tyres, and just losing the rear on the exit there as we approach down the straight. Just come back from my last stint of the sort of trip here to Paul Ricard. Fuck me. Started out on brand new slicks in the wet. We knew the track was drying obviously from earlier. We took a gamble against all the other teams. Obviously this is still practice, but everyone else out on wets, they were quicker for about 4 laps. It was quite a lot. Obviously then it suddenly switched and we were so much faster and we were back onto dry times really. But it's just crazy around here. It's such a fast track, and obviously one little slight mistake and you're off. There's obviously a small dry line, literally no more than the width of the car. And obviously if you go wide onto the wet, you're straight off. Anyway, I'm back. I just had to have a quick refresh because that top was absolutely soaking. I sat down on this sofa and I could feel it all wet on my back. Anyway, but I can't get my head over it. The fucking track is amazing. Even better in the wet. I really love the wet. Same as Jordan actually, he's really, really quick in the wet. So that was good because he was only sort of a couple of seconds off me. We've come to the end of our sort of 2-day test now in Paul Ricard. It's been really good for me, especially beneficial for Jordan, I hope as well. I ended up being the quickest in the wet. In the dry, we weren't as quick. That was yesterday, obviously our first day on the track, so you can't really take that as an example. We were only about a second off and we weren't on brand new tyres. So hopefully we'll be there or thereabouts. As usual, subscribe, comment, like, all that sort of thing. Share it if you can. And again, let me know down below anything else you want to see. Obviously, as I said, first round's I think the 5th of April or something, sometime that week. But we're here for 3 days before that testing. So we've got a lot more testing to go. And I'm thinking by the first round, we should be, obviously we're Pro-Am, so we're not overall for the win, but we should be in class pretty quick. So yeah, I can't wait. So in that case, I will see you sometime soon.